Good evening. Calling the meeting for Tangipahoa Parish School Board to order Tuesday, January the 17th, 2023. At this time, may we have the roll call, Ms. Cindy?
Ms. Richards?
Present.
Mr. Toller?
Here.
Ms. Abrams? Here. Mr. Westmoreland?
Present.
Mr. Duncan?
Here.
Mr. Anthony?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Piazza?
Here.
Ms. Dominguez?
Present. At this time, we'll ask Mr. Moore to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I must say that I am saddened to announce that I've received the resignation for Vice President from Mr. Moore, and I have to ask that we get a motion unanimously for the nomination of a new Vice President.
I would like to nominate Mr. Brett Duncan.
Wait a minute.
You have to make a motion to,
Madam President, first I would move to waive the rules and add an item to the agenda that in accordance with board policy, we elect a new vice president now that the seat has been vacated.
second. Okay, it's been motioned by Mr. Duncan and second by Mr. Toller,
And this vote has to be unanimous.
and this vote has to be unanimous
To waive the rules.
to waive the rules. Yes.
Voting is open. Oh, no, it's not. Now it is. Correct. Yeah, but there's a motion. You see?
Already did it.
Yeah.
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. So at this time, we'd like to go ahead and add it to the minutes for tonight.
Based on that, I'd move to nominate Mr. Brett Duncan as the vice president.
I would second, but I don't think you need a second, do you?
I don't think so.
Okay?
I move to close nominations.
Okay. It's been motioned by,
You need a second to close nominations.
Second.
okay, it's been second by Mr. Toller to close.
Call the question.
Voting
Call to
is,
vote.
voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay?
Congratulations, Mr. Duncan.
We'd like to say congratulations to Mr. Brett Duncan. And I guess they'll officially switch seats at this time? Are you going to stay right there?
Today.
Okay. Okay, moving on to item C. Consider approval of board member minutes of January 10th, 2023.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Westmoreland and second by Trent. Okay, good. Yes, Piazza.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Item 2A, consider committee reports. A, Policy Committee of the Whole, December 6, 2022. Do I have a
Madam
motion?
President, would first move that we consider the proposed policy revisions individually rather than as a entire report from the committee. So we'd ask at this time for a motion, or that, like I said, the motion is to consider the action items individually from the committee report.
Second.
Okay. It's been motioned by Mr. Duncan, second by Ms. Rose, to consider them separately.
We'll need a vote on that.
Okay. Call the vote.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay.
As to policy GBBA, which was action item A on the policy committee's report, Madam President, I do have some last-minute revisions that that I'm asking that we adopt as amendments to the committee's report. The version that you should be looking at is the one that looks kind of like this, that I handed out as you guys first came in. I know that I had emailed some revisions to you, and then I think Ms. Jenkins sent some revisions to you. There were just a few last-minute things after getting some additional input that I added right before I headed to here. So this is the version that I'm asking you to adopt. So my motion at this time is that the board adopt amendments as presented.
I second.
Okay.
You have a yellow sheet?
Yes.
You have a yellow sheet for that?
Yes.
So let me see which wasn't.
We have the, yeah.
Which, Mr. Duncan, which item is that? B?
This is A, action item A. So the policy that would be adopting is GBBA.
GBBA.
It's B.
I apologize.
That's okay. Okay.
So this one deals with, okay.
Qualifications and duties?
Yeah.
So before we do that, Madam President, on GBAA, which was action item A, there are no revisions. I'm
No
asking
revisions.
that you as the board president remove that from the agenda at this time.
Okay.
So that was GBAA, which is action item A. There were no proposed changes to that policy, either from the committee or otherwise.
We already approved.
Okay.
No, we
Yep,
didn't approve
we didn't.
anything.
Okay.
We just moved that. So there's no action on that action item A,
Okay.
which was GBAA.
Okay.
Okay, so the one that I'm asking that we take up now is action item B on the policy committee, which are proposed revisions to GBBA, and I'm asking that we amend the policy committee's recommendations as presented with this document that I handed out right before you came in.
So we're only making this as a recommendation, we're not gonna actually vote
No.
this into,
This would be the final adoption tonight. Yes.
this is you're asking that we adopt this and vote on it tonight
Yes, sir.
to receive, to accept it?
But first, we have to amend the committee's report, and then if
Okay.
we agree to amend the committee's report, then we would do a vote for final adoption as amended.
So Brett, Mr. Duncan, this would be the final copy.
This would be the final version.
What changed on this from what you sent earlier?
So good question. So first off, to understand this version that I sent you, because I know we got like a green and red version,
Right.
and we got a black and white
Right.
version, okay? So for this one, let's leave alone the green and the Christmas colored version.
Okay.
And if we're just looking at the red version, the red portions are things that we're adding to the existing policy. The portions that are struck out are things that were taken out of the existing policy. And then, of course, the black portions are the things that were already there that we're leaving there. So as to your question, Mr. Anthony, the portions that are different than what was sent to you earlier of the red section, if you look on page 2, under secondary duties and responsibilities, The version that was sent out to you earlier said that teachers may be assigned to perform other duties by school administration, such as serving on committees, supervising extracurricular activities, or serving as a mentor to new teachers. This version says teachers may be asked to perform other duties.
Okay.
That was a request after receiving some additional input from our, I guess, employee advocates. The only other thing that's different is at the very end where and that provision primarily was the very last paragraph that talks about school-approved job descriptions. That was the portion that was struck out, wording that was struck out at the earlier point. It just made more sense to me to move that to the very end, but there was some additional language added that says that every employee will receive a copy of their job description to be signed and kept on file at their school. That was a complaint that we were receiving, that some of our employees have never actually received a copy of their own job descriptions. They ought to have that, and we ought to have a record that they received a copy of it. So we're adding that to the policy.
Thank you.
So before we actually do, I just want to make sure, because I've read this a few times and I know it's in here, I just want to alliterate. I know we have under here paraprofessionals, we have their description now. I just want to make sure, because even though we've read it, but for the public to understand too, if they are asked to cover a classroom when a teacher is absent, that's going to be counted towards their duty time, correct? That's not going to be counted towards their just normal duties and operations.
Well,
With that part.
I think that this policy makes clear that the role of at least in my mind, and it's my goal, that I was trying to make clear that the role of a paraprofessional is to assist teachers. If they are regularly being asked to actually be a teacher or to serve in the role of a teacher, then I think we ought to be doing something different. They shouldn't be being paid as a paraprofessional and being asked to serve for long periods of time as an actual teacher. That's not something that we ought to, at least as a policy, that we ought to be, I think, finding to be acceptable.
Okay.
Mr. Duncan?
I have a question. It seems like a pretty heavy red line. Is there some emergent need to add this to the policy, like right now, without?
Mr. Moore, yes.
having had
I'd like to answer your question. Yes, sir. This has been kicked around the bucket 3 or 4, 15 times. And we do have staff right now that are getting abused by these policies, and they're not getting their 30-minute free lunch. They're working way above their 90 minutes per week. We've been in constant communications with their advocates. We've been in constant communication with employees with these issues. As somebody who's worked in our system has seen this himself, it's something that should have been addressed a long time ago. I'm glad we're finally getting to it now, but this was actually supposed to be on the agenda, I think back in December, if I'm not mistaken. It got pushed to January, and then it got pushed to this meeting. It's been pushed down the road so many times that it's getting to the point where people start asking, well, why am I even doing this if we're not going to care enough to fix the thing? I've read over it 3 or 4 times. It addresses everything the advocates are asking. It's addressing everything the employees are asking, and I think it will better our school system. But it has been kicked around continuously for the past 3 meetings, and it needs to be addressed as immediate as possible, and I'm hoping tonight. But if that gives you any comfort.
I was not addressing the policy as it was distributed to the board for review before tonight, just the last minute red line.
Oh, yeah.
So let,
Just
But
the
that's
last
the-
minute red lines, because I had not.
Yeah.
Because I had not.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So let-
That was it.
context.
Okay.
if I can, because I think, look, I want Mr. Moore and everybody to be comfortable with everything that we're doing. So I'll go through it if that'll help, Mr. Moore.
No, actually,
No,
I know, actually, I just
Okay.
read it.
Okay.
I just had a question about the.
Okay.
About the protocol.
Okay.
Okay. And pretty much the only added changes from what we've already read that you emailed was the ask
Yeah,
in the
and-
last.
Yeah, and look, the extra, admittedly, as Mr. Moore said,
Yeah.
I probably did some over lawyering on this, okay? But you know, what y'all, various board members had asked, and some folks in the administration had asked, and then the advocates, you know, all of the feedback that I was receiving wanted some clarity on what was duty. You know, that if we're limiting the administration, school administration, to being able to only give teachers 90 minutes of duty per week, then we needed to have some clarity on what is duty versus what is like the normal expectations of our teachers.
Yes.
And so what I was trying to do with all of this extra red line was to do a couple of things. Number one was to make clear, you know, what those definitions are. But also I wanted our teachers to hear from us and our paraprofessionals to hear from us that we understand the extraordinary demands that are placed on them as teachers, and that we want to protect the time that they have in that building to do the job that you know, to meet those extraordinary demands.
Yes.
And so the more clarity that we could provide on those issues, I felt was a good thing. But it did. It added about 2 pages to our policy and maybe made it a little bit more complicated. But
Okay. So we need a second?
so
Or just comment, just gonna comment. We've been actually working on this since the summer. And I know the teachers union we've been working with Mr. Jinko and Ms. Fazell about all these jobs, so, it's been a little longer since December. We've had a lot of conversations about this, and, we've had a lot of issues with, you know, people trying to, not really take advantage, but in a sense take advantage because we don't have substitutes. So this would be a plea to our community. If you would like to get back to substituting like you used to substitute, we really need you back on board. We need you to volunteer. You know, we pay a good salary for substitutes, and we're having to really task our teachers and our paras a lot more than is required of them, and we want them to teach our kids. And if they have to be out, we need some substitutes, and we need to pass this so that this will not take advantage of our employees and our paras, that we would be more diligent to support them and do what needs to be done so they can do their job. So appreciate you, Mr. Duncan, for putting this all together, and for all the other people who submitted input. I know we've talked about it a lot, so thank you for that, and I'm ready to vote. I'll call for the question.
Okay. We don't have a second yet.
I'll second it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought we did, yeah.
All right. So it's been motioned and second. Call for a vote. Ms. Cindy?
Voting is open.
Mine's not coming up. Yes. Okay. There it is.
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
then now at this time, Madam President, I would move to adopt the proposed revisions to GBBA as amended.
I'll second.
Okay. Motioned and second.
And I do think we have public input on this.
At this time?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Dina?
Good evening. I'm Dina Esplanade, President of Tangible Federation of Teachers, and I want to thank you for what you just did. I totally appreciate it all. The employees really needed this. This shows the support for them and all the hard work that they do daily. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for keeping them in mind, and thank you for doing what you did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dina.
Call the question on the motion.
Call a question.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Great.
So then, Madam President, the next item on that policy committee report
Mm-hmm.
that we would like to take up which was action item C on the report, which it dealt with proposed revisions to GBRC. There are some just last minute revisions, but not that anything after what you should have received in your emails earlier.
Right.
The revisions to this policy just changed the time expected for teachers to be at the school. Instead of asking that they be there 15 minutes early, we're moving that to 10 minutes early. And that instead of asking them to stay 15 minutes after students are released, we're asking them to stay only 5 minutes after they're released. We added a sentence that says that these minutes shall not be counted towards their non-instructional duty time served. And then finally, the big revision is that all employees, all full-time employees, shall receive a minimum 30-minute duty-free lunch break each day.
Yes.
So we can't be asking our employees to perform duty during their 30-minute lunch break. So we're asking, I would ask then at this time that we adopt the amendments as presented in the version that was sent to you earlier today.
Okay, and that's GB.
This is policy GBRC, which is
Okay.
action
Okay.
item
Okay.
C on the policy committee report.
Okay.
I'll second, Ms. Jenkins.
Okay. Motion and second. Questions? Call for a vote, Ms. Cindy?
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
So then, Madam President, we'll move at this time to adopt the proposed revisions as amended, as to GBRC.
Second.
And then, just before we vote, just want to thank our advocates from the union for being patient with me. I know
Yes.
this took longer than we wanted it to. I think, though, that we got a lot of great input from everybody, especially received some great input from our new board members. I'm glad we moved this over, 1 week so that we could make sure that we got that input and consider it and integrate it into these revisions. But I think we got to a good place, and now hopefully we can get it implemented and get our employees some relief.
Okay.
Call for the vote.
So well, who's second?
Joey?
Joey? Okay.
Voting is open.
Okay.
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, moving on to item 3, superintendent's report and our recommendations.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. For item A, I would just like to update the board and the public on our Crew of Champions Parade that will be Saturday, January the 28th at high noon, 12 o'clock. And it will be right here in Amite, starting at the shopping center area where the House of the Rock is located. And we'll travel east through Amite and end pretty close to the courthouse area, or Duncan Avenue. So the public to come out and join us that night. We'll be that day. We'll be celebrating our students and their accomplishments, as well as our teachers and principals. So just want to remind everyone of that. And secondly, on item B, we have 2 new principals that have been selected. And so I'd like to recognize each one of them and ask them to come to the podium and if they'd like to share anything at this time. Our first new principal at Tucker Elementary is Miss Keandra Jackson. So Miss Jackson, if you'd like to
Thank you. I would like to thank Ms. Stilley and the board for giving me this opportunity. I want to thank my immediate family, and friends, and last but not least, my Tucker family for their support. I couldn't do what I do without their support. I'm honored to have this opportunity to lead a school with such amazing students, an extremely dedicated staff, and a supportive school community. I feel very fortunate to have served as assistant principal for the past 8 years at Tucker Elementary. I understand that this position brings its own set of challenges, but I, along with my dedicated staff, will work through each and every one with the strength and determination that we Tucker Gators are known for. Again, I want to thank Ms. Stilley and the board for providing me this opportunity, and I promise to lead Tucker with pride, perseverance, and passion, and leave a mark on the heart and lives of every student who will lead us until tomorrow. Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Ms. Jackson, and also for the Tucker family that's all here to congratulate and cheer on. We appreciate y'all being here tonight. Thank you. Our next new principal is Roseland Elementary Montessori School, and it's Rainey. Yes.
Yasaji.
Yasaji. I have been practicing. Yasaji. I have been practicing that. So.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you. Members of the board and administration, it is with great honor that I stand before you as principal of Roseland Montessori School. I've had the pleasure of being part of the Roseland family for the past 12 years as a teacher, teaching 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, and over the past 5 years as assistant principal. It is now with great excitement that I have the opportunity to lead a school that is so close to my heart. I appreciate the opportunity to take an already great school and make it even greater. I look forward to working with the board, the community, the students, parents, and my wonderful faculty and staff to make Roseland Montessori School one in which academic excellence is the foundation of everything we do. Thank you.
Congratulations, and of course we have the Roseland Montessori family here with you, and also I see your family members behind you as well. Yes. Thank you for being here.
Now we move on to personal privileges from the board. We'll start on this end with Mr. Joey tonight.
Oh, I get to go first this time.
Yes.
Right. Sorry, Trent. You get to go behind me again, buddy. But at least you got a buffer this time. First, I want to say thank you to Ms. Dina and her staff for coming to the board and working very well with us. I want to thank the other members of the board for putting together these much-needed revisions. As somebody who's been in the classroom, day to day gets kind of rough when you feel overwhelmed and you feel, underheard. I think what we did tonight as a board not only signifies our direction as a board, but it shows our staff we are concerned with them, and we're willing to work at the table with our newfound friends that have always been with us along the way. Second and lastly, I want to congratulate the two new principals. As a former Gator, I didn't get to go to Roseland, but Tom talks very highly about it all the time. As somebody who's, again, been in those rooms, it's good to see that we're bringing people who's already been on board to the next level. I will tell you this much, and it may not mean anything to you, but to have somebody who's been in the trenches with you move to the person who's going to lead the ship, those communications that you've had, those bonds that you've had, those passing words when the coffee just didn't cut it that morning, they all go into account. So I just want to make sure y'all understand the weight that you're going to have with your staff, and I promise you they're going to love you to the end if y'all have made those connections, and I can't wait to see where Tucker goes and Roseland goes. Congratulations, you two.
Well, Ms. Janice, your first meeting, congratulations. Sorry, Mr. Jerry, that you're not going to continue on with us, but congratulations to Brett. I get to sit in Miss Sandra's seat, y'all. I'm so privileged to sit right here between our two new board members. So I think they're gonna do a great job. We've been in contact. I talk to Trent and Joey often, and I think they're gonna do a great job here for Tangipahoa Parish School System. And we hope that if there's anything that any of you see that we can help you with, we have new people in our central office with Mr. McNeely and Mr. Terry. If y'all need anything, please don't hesitate to call any of us. believe me, Miss Sandra's phone rang all the time. We don't mind it. Just give us a call. We want to help you out as much as we can. To all of my schools out there that did Penny Power, I appreciate you all so much. TARC raised a good bit of money this year, and you should be ordering your pizzas for your free pizza parties from TARC, and I hope to be able to visit some of the schools during that time.
All right, well, I'd like to also congratulate the new principals, and it's so nice to see that so many of your staff members came along with you. It just shows that you have that support. I happen to have friends that work underneath both of you, so I'm just really excited about the jobs that you guys can do. I also want to say, while we have this many staff members here, I hope that that the passing of these policies tonight show y'all how committed we are to you, and how badly we want more teachers to come join our teams over here. And I mean, it's the first thing that I've done that we've done that we had some input in, and I just hope it shows our willingness to work alongside you. And I'm just so proud of our parish. I think we have the sky's the limit, so I'm just looking forward to what we can accomplish together, and I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Trent. First of all, I want to congratulate again Miss Janice. For those of us that have been in that position, it is nerve-wracking to be in charge of this group and to get all of the parliamentary law procedures correct. And so I feel for you, but we support you, and you're doing a great job. So just keep it up. And you've got lawyers on here that can help you when you get in a bind. Ms. Jackson, Ms. Yassiji, congratulations. Look forward to working with y'all. And if you need us as a board members, please reach out to us individually, collectively. We'll be more than glad to help you. Rosalind's good to see you here as well, supporting Ms. Yassiji. And Ms. Mabry. I can't let this opportunity go by without saying Ms. Mabry is one of my favorite high school teachers. And she has been teaching for, at least 15, 20 years. And
she might not want people to know that, Tom.
I want to say that I love her, and I'm glad that she's still teaching. There should be, and this is a state level complaint, but there should be an easier way for retirees to come back and teach in our classroom without being penalized financially, because their wealth of knowledge. So I had a high school teacher a couple weeks ago told me that this was his last year teaching, that he was going to have to retire, and he said, if I could come back as a first year teacher, I would come back with a different social security number, just to keep teaching. But they can't do that. So anyway, that's my state complaint. But Ms. Mabry, it's good to see you tonight. Thank you. That's all I have.
Well, I'm going to reiterate something that I have said since I've been here, and that is the importance of recognizing why everybody is in this room today, why this building stands. It is all about children. It is all about educating the children, and that should be the number one priority for every person in this building. I think that too often, and I know that we've all been kids, and everybody here, especially your teachers and your principals, I know that you run into situations, circumstances with our kids that are pressing. I've got one kid at my house, my grandson. He presses me to the roof every day. But they're children, and we are the adults. And so we need to find a way. The number one thing, and I always say, you stress the very thing that Ms. Stilley has made the motto for this school. That number one thing, compassion. Love, compassion, and caring. Because these kids can read you like a book. There is not one thing that you could do to them under the cover and they not recognize it. So I'm going to say, be compassionate and put love first. Well, someone asked me one time, so, Mr. Jerry, what do you do, to get into the good graces, I suppose, of these children? Just be nice. I had the pastor that I grew up in his church. That was his motto. It's nice to be nice. And I think that is the key. That is the thing that we need to embrace, so that we can get these children to learn, to want to learn for you, to respect you. But if they think you care about them, then they will care about how you perceive them. So let's put love and compassion at the top of our list.
Mr. Westmoreland? Oh, that's the VP. So he comes.
Oh, it's coming back to me.
Oh, it's coming back. I'd just like to ditto what all fellow board members have stated. Congratulations to the new principals at the school. I'm sure y'all going to do an excellent job. Appreciate Ms. Stilley again for moving y'all up in the ranks, and I'm sure we all going to be very proud of you. Proud of Ms. Janice tonight of completing her first meeting almost and doing an excellent job. Congratulations to my fellow attorney, Mr. Brett Duncan, on the vice presidency. And ditto with the policy changes. They definitely needed those things, and we have been working on them a while, and glad we can do that for y'all. So thank y'all.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much to our new principals. We appreciate you working the ranks to get to where you are. Y'all have worked hard and you've earned the spot. I know you'll do great things. Thank you, Ms. Dina, and your officers for working with us diligently in a professional manner. Sometimes people give the unions a bad name, but y'all have a great name with us, and we appreciate y'all a lot. Thank you so much. I just wanted to congratulate Janice again and Brett. Looking forward to y'all leading us this year. It's going to be a great year. And I guess at this time, I kind of go ahead and make the announcement. I told my board at our Christmas gathering that I'm now the state president for Louisiana's School Board Association. And I'm really excited about it. I took over January 1st. Today, our first newsletter went out, and it was kind of starstruck, and I saw the letter from myself in the newsletter. It was just, it's quite encouraging to be a part of such an organization that will help all our school boards across our state. So I'm proud to be a representative for Tangipahoa Parish, which gives me the honor to be on the state level. And also I've been appointed to serve on the new school board that was for the nation that was started this past summer. Our school board association now is in what's called a consortium of state school boards association, and it's called COSBA. So now we have to get used to saying COSBA for our national, and so I'll be the Southern Region Chair on that national board. And so I'm hoping to bring some great things back to Louisiana and Tangipahoa Parish from that national organization. So I'm looking forward to serving, and I appreciate y'all for always supporting me.
Okay. Mr. Duncan?
So I will say first that I'm sorry that Mr. Moore did not feel like he could continue on as our vice president. I hope, though, that you know how much we appreciate you and value you as a fellow school board member, and of course look forward to continuing to work with you and accomplish great things for our community and our school system here on the school board. I do want to thank the board for the confidence you've shown in me and allowing me to serve as your vice president this year. Want you to know that I appreciate that confidence. I'm going to work hard for you and endeavor to do my very best not to let you down. So thank you for that. And then I guess I've already spoken as to the policies. I think everybody said everything. You know, I just think it's so important that we recognize that. I know as a board and as a community last year, we did a lot of work to try and raise the salaries of all of our employees, to try and help demonstrate to them the value that we place on the job that they do for our children and our community. But if at the same time we're raising their salary, we are asking them to do so much more work than what they were doing before, then we didn't really do a whole lot to make these positions competitive with our neighboring districts. And so this was a very important step, I think, to layer on top of all of the work that we did last year, raising those salaries. You know, again, the objective in doing that was not just to give away more of the community's money. The objective in doing that was to make the jobs that we offer here in Tangipahoa competitive with the jobs that are offered in Livingston Parish and in our neighboring districts. And so this was an effort to make sure that we're protecting that progress and trying to move forward in the right direction. So it was a very important thing that we did tonight, and I thank everybody that played a role in making it happen.
Thank you. Ms. Steele, you don't have anything? Okay. I'd just like to say to the principals, congratulations. And although that I've been just in the background, because Tom just helps me out so much, Roseland, because he has the inside home talk. So
That's about the nicest way to put it.
yeah, I was trying to put it nicely.
That's a complaint box.
That's it. That's right there. So we do know what's going on with Roseland. But again, congratulations to you all. Ms. Rose, I just want to say congratulations to you. We're proud of you, having you represent us and then have you as our own so we can tell you what we want. Brett, again, congratulations. The other thing that I wanted to say that we had a death in our community in the Hill family, and we want to offer our condolences. And I got a call just randomly on my phone from Amway saying that he was a employee of Amway, and so tomorrow, if you're scheduled for your garbage to be picked up on Wednesday, they will not be coming tomorrow because they're giving the employees the day off for the funeral. That would be at 11 o'clock on tomorrow. And that is Ed Hill and the Hill family. Okay? Anything else? At this time, we will be going into executive session for litigation.
Madam President, move to enter executive session to consider the cases of Caroline Flynn versus Tangipahoa Parish School System, Andrea Hart versus Tangipahoa Parish School Board, and Joyce Marie Moore versus Tangipahoa Parish School Board.
Second that.
Motion and second.
Channel 17, proudly serving the Florida parishes.
Yes.
Madam President, at this time, move to, on the matter of Carolyn O'Flynn versus Tangipahoa Parish School System, move to adopt council's recommendation.
Second.
Second by Mr. Westmoreland. Call the vote, Ms. Cindy.
Voting is open.
Yes for Tom,
Yes for Tom.
or yay?
Yes for Janice.
Yes. I already closed it.
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay.
I need to get back on the screen. What was the other one?
Adria Hart.
On the matter of Andrea Hart versus Tangipahoa Parish School Board, move to adopt council's recommendation.
Second.
Second, Mr. Westmoreland. Call the vote.
Voting is open.
Yes.
Yes.
Voting
we
is
go on.
closed. Motion passes unanimously.
I think they're good.
Joyce
Okay.
Moore.
No action on Joyce Marie Moore.
Okay. Any other? Meeting is adjourned.